Hello, everyone. This is Mr. Kissinger of the Citizenship Academy in Syracuse, New York. This is 5th grade math, module 2, lesson 21. We're going to continue to divide 2 and 3 digit dividends by 2-digit divisors today using that standard algorithm. So if we look at the top of our page, it should look somewhat familiar. This is what we were doing in lesson 20. It says divide, then check using multiplication. And this first one is done for us. So we have, 258 divided by 47. They got 5 remainder 23 here. And then checked that answer using multiplication, which is the inverse of division. So let's do letter B here together. It says 148 divided by 67. So we have 148 on the inside. And then we have our 67 that we're dividing by on the outside. 67 does not go into 1. It does not go into 14, but it will go into 148. We need to round that divisor to make it a little bit easier for us to find out how many times 68 might go into 148. So I'm going to round 68 to 70. And we'll make a little factor tree here. We have 70, 140, 210. I know that because I can look at it as 7 tens, 14 tens, 21 tens. I'm just skip counting by sevens. And then I'm adding that 0 onto the end because I'm multiplying by 10. So I have 70, 140. Well, 210 looks like it's going to be a bit too much. So I think I'm going to stop right here. And that's going to be 70 times 2. Let's figure out what 67 times 2 is. So we'd use like a piece of scrap paper. I'm going to do 67 times 2. 7 times 2 is 14. We carry the 1. 6 times 2 is 12. Plus 1 is 134. So we'll put a 2 up here. And 134 down here to subtract. 8 minus 4 is 4. And 4 minus 3 is 1. So we have 14. That will be our remainder. And now we can check our answer by multiplying 67 by 2. Well, we know that's 134. 134 plus 14 is 148, which is the same as our dividend here. So we can assume that our answer is correct. Next, we have 591 divided by 73. 591 goes inside the box, that first number. And then divided by 73 on the outside here. I don't know why I wrote 17. That is not 73. All right, 73. And then 73 does not go into 5. It does not go into 59, but it will go into 591. We're not sure how many times. So 73 is pretty close to 70. So I'm going to, again, do a factor tree with 70s. I'm going to need a little bit more than this one up here. But I'm going to start it the same way. So I'll give myself a little more room. 70, 140. I have 210. 280. Again, 7, 14, 21, 28. I'm skip counting by sevens. 7 times 5 would be 35. So we get 350. 7 times 6 is 42. So we get 420. I got to keep going. 7 times 7 is 49. So we get 490. 7 times 8 is 56. So I get 560. 7 times 9 is 63. So I get 630. And now I'm up above 591. So I'm going to stop right here at 560. I know that 560 is 70 times 8, because 7 times 8 is 56, and I add my 0. So I could also count these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 8 is going to go up here in my quotient. But I need to figure out what 73 times 8 is, not 70. So over here, I'm going to do 73 times 8. You get 24. 7 times 8 is 56. Plus 2 is 58. And I get 584. So I got that from this 9. 11 minus 4 is 7. And my remainder is 7. So we get 8 remainder 7. Well, I know 73 times 8 is 584. 584 plus 7 is 591. 591 was my dividend. So I've checked my answer. I know it's correct. 8 remainder 7. Let's do letter D here. We have 759. Starting to get into some bigger numbers here. Divided by 94. To me, I would think, 94, that 4, if I was rounding to the nearest 10, I might round down to 90. But I could also round up to 100, and that makes things really easy for me. I round to my nearest 100. Because I know that 100 is going to go into 759. Well, that'll go in 7 times. So let's start with 94 times 7 and see what we get. 94 does not go into 7, does not go into 75. So I know it's going to be, I'm going to guess 7 because, again, 94 is close to 100. 759 is close to 700. I know it's going to go in about 7 times, maybe one more, maybe one less. So I'll do 94 times 7. 4 times 7 is 28. Carry my 2. 9 times 7 is 63. Plus 2, 65. And I get 658. I'm going to subtract. And I get 101. So 94 can go into 759 one more time because this number is bigger than 94. Rather than starting over this time, I'm going to show you guys a trick. So I'm going to cross out my 7, and I'm going to add one more 94. And I'm going to say that my quotient is 8 instead of 7. All I need to do now is I just subtract 94. Eight. 11. 11 minus 4 is 7. 8 minus, or, that was 10. That was already supposed to be 9. 9 minus 9 is 0. And I get a remainder of 7. So I get 8 remainder 7. But let's check our work. I need to do 94 times 8, which I don't know yet. So I'll do 94 times 8. 4 times 8 is 32. Carry my 3. 9 times 8 is 72. Plus 3 is 75. I get 752. 752 plus 7 equals 759. All right. So I'm glad that worked out that way because sometimes when we estimate, we're not going to get the right quotient the first time. But if we end up after we subtract with a number that is larger, like 101, larger than our divisor, then we need to add another one to our quotient, and then we need to subtract out that divisor one more time. So we're going to subtract that 94. And we'll get a little bit more practice with that as we continue with these division lessons. I want to do one word problem before we finish here. So let's do this first one. We'll do number 3. Assume Mrs. Zhang's car travels 14 miles on each gallon of gas. She travels to visit her niece who lives 133 miles away. How many gallons of gas will Mrs. Zhang need to make the round trip? So let's underline some information. Her car travels 14 miles on each gallon. She travels to visit her niece, who lives 133 miles away. How many gallons of gas will she need to make the round trip? Now, round trip, that means she's going there and back. So it's not just going to be 133 miles. It's going to be double that. So I'm going to start by doing 133 times 2. 3 times 2 is 6. 6. 2. And we get 266. So we know that Miss Zhang's niece lives 266 or 133 miles away, but her full trip is going to be 266 miles. So I'm going to draw a tape diagram here to give myself an idea. I know that this is her whole trip here is 266 miles. Now, if she can go 14 miles on each gallon of gas, how many gallons will she need? So I have 14, 14, 14, 1, 2, 3. And I'm just going to do an ellipse here, dot, dot, dot. And how many gallons of gas will she need? So how many times does 14 go into 266 is what we're asking. So how many 14s do we need to get to 266? Well, now I can identify that this is a division problem. So we'll do 266 divided by 14. Does 14 go into 2? It does not. Does 14 go into 26? It does. So 14 times 1 is 14. 14 times 2 is 28. So I know it only goes in one time. So I'll do 14, 26 minus 14 is 12. And then I need to bring down my 6, and I get 126. Well, 14 goes into 126, but we don't know how many times. I'm going to estimate now to figure that out. I'm going to round 14. Let's round it down to 10. So I do 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times it would go in if it was 10. So let's try it times 12. We do 14 times 12. 4 times 2 is 8. 1 times 2 is 2. 0. 4 times 1 is 4. 1 times 1 is 1. And we get 168. All right. So if we do 168, 14 times 12. Okay, we got a number that's larger than 126. So we know that's not going to work. What else could I count by to get to 126? Well, let's see if we did something a little bit closer to 14. What if we did 15s? Count by 15s. 15, 30, 45, 60, 75, 90. 90 plus 15 is 105. We get 120. And then we get 135. Okay, so we'll go to 120 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's try 14 times 8 instead. 8 times 4 is 32. Carry the 3. 8 times 1 is 8 plus 3 is 112. Well, 112 will go into 126. So we'll do 112. 6 minus 2 is 4. 2 minus 1 is 1. Oh, and we have 14. So if we did 8 times, that would be 14. So we need to add one more. Let's try a 9. We subtract 14 more, and we get 0. So we don't have a remainder. We have 19 gallons of gas is what we think our answer is. Let's check it to make sure. So we'll do 14 times 19. And we will get 14 times 19 plus 4 times 9 is 36. 1 times 9 is 9 plus 3 is 12. And 0 down. And we have 4 times 1 is 4. 1 times 1 is 1. And we have 126 plus 140. We get 6, 6, 2. Huh. Bring that up here. 126 plus 140. 6, 6, 2. And we get 266, which was our dividend. So that one was a little bit tough. That took a lot of steps. But we know we can, when we have the wrong answer, or if we aren't getting the numbers that we need, we just need to keep trying different methods. I mean, when we're estimating, we're not always going to get an exact answer. So, when I multiply by multiples of 10, yeah, I could have kept checking and going, okay, well, 10 times 12 didn't work, and I could try 11, then 10. But when I'm really far off, maybe I want to try a different factor tree. I went with 15 because it's a lot closer to 14 than 10 is. I mean, I could have gone to 12 if skip counting by 12 is easier for you, and you would have gotten a similar answer. But if you have a number that is still larger than 14 when you subtract, you just know you need to put 14 or bigger than your divisor. You just need to know you put your divisor back into. In this case, it was 14. So just keep that in mind. You can always change that number in your quotient if it doesn't make sense as you get further down. But that's all the time we have for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and look forward to seeing you all next time.